It's crazy. All right, well, now I apologize about the inconvenience. Zoom sort of changed the policies. You can't even, I can't even log back into the same meeting ID. Every time I log back in, they send me a different meeting ID and a different passcode. So, and it's such an inconvenience. But I would have liked to hear from those three gentlemen that chimed in there at the end. Um, in particularly Tharp seemed like he had some pressing things to talk about. So, and well, I thankfully that Ryan sort of summed it up. This is the answer that I was looking for. How can they pursue um, getting their pay retroactively now through the UPL? I didn't know that they can actually file Fair Labor Practices, ULPs, without having an organization first. So that's good to know. I'm glad he was on. Definitely glad he was on. So give a couple of minutes to see how many more guys that chime back in. I may have a special guest on here in a few minutes. Um, a lot of the guys who played during my era would know who he is. And stand-up guy, one with the intestinal fortitude, who actually took the bull by the horn and spearheaded that movement way back in the summer of 1999. He just texted me, so hopefully he'll jump on here in a few minutes. But I owe it all to him because if it wasn't for him, none of this would have happened. I was in the hospital and having neck surgery while he was out there getting all these collecting all these signatures from the players. And went to the commissioner. There were three players. I forgot to tell you, Tim. there were three players, and maybe Mike Washington might not know this either. There were three players invited to go to Anaheim, California. That's where the headquarters were originally at in Anaheim, California, to talk to ask the commissioner to recognize him. And the commissioner ultimately did not. But there were three players. It was him, another gentleman by the name of Steve Pappin, and another gentleman by the name of Honky Cooper, Hernandez Cooper. But he was the only one to show up. He actually reached out to a few unions. The one that actually responded was UFCW, United Food Commercial Workers Union, and they flew out to California with him. The other two did not go. Yeah, for whatever reason why those other two players didn't go, that's their personal reasons. He did. Um, and I'm trying to get him on. I don't want to say what his name is. I want to just jump in here. Yeah, so he took the petitions there. They denied him. Then United Food Workers Commercials Union went to the NLRB. The attorney that worked for the UFCW, um, as a matter of fact, he co-authored this book, this sports book, this business, this sports law book. His name was Mark Livingston. So he co-authored this book, and they gave me a copy. And but he was like, I work for grocery store workers. Um, he felt like the best representation that the Arena Football League players could get at that time was from an organization that actually fight for football players, and that was the NFLPA. And he reached out to the NFLPA and talked to Gene Upshaw, who was the executive director at that time. He's passed on now. And Gene Upshaw had two outstanding uh, economist attorneys, one by the name of Jeffrey Kessler and the other one by the name of David Fair, that he quickly got involved, engaged in this process. And so Mark Livingston, Jeffrey Kessler, and David Fair, those names are going down in infamy when you talk about the AFLPU and how it got started. And they went and filed an antitrust lawsuit. And James Barron was there at Trump Towers that last time when Casey Wasserman was the owner for the LA Avengers at the time, saying, we're not coming back. We're going to get a deal done today. James Barron, yours truly, James Barron, and another player by the name of Mike Pawlowski and myself were there at Trump Towers. And we ultimately got a deal done. Ultimately got a deal. They settled with us, and we walked out of there. And I was happy because I didn't want to go to any more meetings. But James and Mike, they did most of the negotiation, most of the negotiating, um, and we got a deal done. Basically, those two were very instrumental in getting the deal done, and ultimately manifested itself into this, the CBA. And that was the first ever CBA that the Arena Football League have ever had. So I guess no one else is going to get on. I feel a lot of brokenness from the guys who did speak. You know, it is unfortunate. I will at some point, probably tomorrow. Tomorrow probably would not be a good time. Probably Monday, I will try to reach out to Lee Hutton, see if he'd be willing to respond to me. I've reached out to him several times over already, say on Twitter, Facebook, his personal cell, email, all his social media outlets. I've reached out to him and he just went radio silent.
Legal, we've sent him a legal letter. We sent
Yep.
him.
Yep. He just went radio silent on us. Not just with us, but apparently with some of these other ownership groups too. He's not returning any of their calls as well. He just made his wife fold the team in Minnesota. I think they're about to leave the country. So many, so many people after him. I think they're about to leave the country. Honestly, do and get out of this heat that they're in. I'm thinking about also, Tim. You probably heard this name before. Maybe you have not. A guy used to own a team in San Jose, California. His name was John Fry. He's the one that actually bought the Arena Football League out of bankruptcy some years ago. This last time, and even wait a minute, I don't see him. And he's the one I was speaking about earlier that has a resort now down in the Bahamas. So he's focusing more on that, on tourism, than he is football. And he sold it to these guys. I actually went on LinkedIn and tried to reach out to Anthony Rossi. He's one of the executives in this financial firm there in Canada that he sold it to. And I asked him if he had time to take a call. He has not responded at all. So I don't know how they discovered Lee Hutton. But I want to know some information on how do you guys find this guy? Oh shoot. Hold on a second, because Calvin's calling me. You know who Calvin is, James.
Uh-huh.
What's up, my brother?
You on mute?
James, he said he see you mean mugging, James.
Tell him I got 4 kids. I'm halfway in the crazy house. My oldest 9. You know, I got
Yeah,
one
they're
foot
trying to help us get money.
coming or going. Well, let me tell you,
All
it's
right,
wild.
hey everyone, without further ado, I just want to introduce this gentleman who just jumped in here. You guys see him, he's in his vehicle. I guess he has his radio. He's probably working right now. But this guy is the pillar of success behind the Arena Football League player union. His name, without further ado, is Calvin Schexnayder. He is the one that took all the petitions of the players to Anaheim, California. There were 3 players, like I told y'all, that were invited to go with him. Two other players invited to go with him. One by the name of Steve Pappin, the other one by the name of Honky Cooper. The only one showed up to take the trip was this gentleman right here, Calvin Schexnayder, formerly of the Arizona Rattlers. My dude, my ride or die, my brother. Love you so much, man. Tell him a little bit about how that went down.
Oh man. So get this. We had been discussing the issue of representation and discussing the facts that the facts of the league that we wanted to grow with the league. We wanted to be a part of the process, not just put to the side. The league came back and said, well, you need to first let us, get a hold of this situation, and then we can bring you on. And I was just like, in no league, in no time, do you put people to the side who are playing for you, who are doing the job, doing the work for you, and tell them to hold off. No, this is a partnership. You do your part, we do our part. And that's what brought about the petition. I said, I'm going to go to UFCW, I don't know if many people even know about that. Sean was one of the first contacts that I made with UFCW, and um, we had made an arrangement. Pappin, Honky, me, we're gonna all go down to Anaheim, and we're gonna, present all the petitions that we have. And the next day I showed up. Um, it was just me, Sean, and another guy. I can't remember his name, but um,
You on the
it was
field?
just us three, in the room with the commissioner.
It's crazy. That's some history there.
I can't hear you.
I said that's some history, some real history right
I'm on
there.
the mountain, so I'm on patrol. So
Yeah, I said
can you
that's
hear
some
me?
history. That's some history right there, bro.
Yeah, and that
Some,
and that became, it was contentious. Yeah, it was contentious. Um, a time when my name was not, it wasn't received well. I'll just say that much. It wasn't received well. Oh, here comes Calvin. Here comes, but I knew what I was doing it for, and I knew there are other brothers out there who understood, you know, the sacrifice. And it's like, well, would you do it again? Yeah, I think I would. I think I would, because I know what is right and what needed to be done. Now, would I have asked for other brothers to come more than just them? Yes, I would have, because that put a target on my back. But nevertheless, through that ratification of what went down, we got better representation. We weren't taken for granted. You couldn't pull the wool over our heads. You know, hey, the NFLPA end up coming in. Gene Upshaw was like, I see what they're doing. Not gonna let that happen. And we had a meeting before he died. We were in California, and we had a good talk. And you know, Gene did some things that went to the players and said they're going through some things. They're in their infancy stage. We need to back them. And he got the players on board, and they supported us wholeheartedly. Yep. And to this day, hey, certain people got certain things coming to them. I understand that ain't gonna happen, but nevertheless, hey, we did our thing.
man, big respect. I got to say something, just to speak on what he's talking about, because it's very inspiring to have this history here on the phone. And I'm not sure how many guys we got here, but it just speaks to what needs to happen moving forward. And you should be able to he's literally the reason why, as a group, we're sitting here as a group right now. Like literally, Calvin. I don't like the fact that we sitting here and we having this conversation, and that there's a organization here for players now to continue that legacy, continue that legacy of just the representation. And there's cover, and unity, right? So
Yep.
what you sparked was for other players to get around it, and we did have a united front. At the end of the day, when we had our election at that time, I think we were close to 80% of the vote. You dig what I'm
Yep.
saying? Organization we had. So, the stance you took, the gentleman Antoine, I think James has been referring to, basically he's been the player. Cave and some of the guys in his generation were the guys that carried it in his generation. Antoine and some of the younger players now are the guys in this generation, but it's going to take just having and demanding that respect, that voice as a partner, and then you can start to ball the rolling to possibly doing business. You dig what I'm saying? And getting good business rolling. So just big respect to you, brother. You dig what I'm saying? And just want to say that, get them flowers up while we out here and able to receive them. So I want everybody to understand the history that's on the phone between all of us, and we all got history, but this is literally the man that's behind, 3 collective bargaining agreements, you know what I mean, that millions of dollars benefits, and all types of player protections as it relates to health and safety and all kind of stuff. So, what you did, like you said, would you do it all over again, even for the sacrifices? Yes. You know what I mean? Yeah. 10 times over, because the impact and the reach that this had on players, I'm talking about in the millions of dollars, millions and millions of dollars that went back to players and benefits, salary and benefits, all of that. So, big respect to you, man. It was all worth it, bro. It was all worth it. You know what I mean? It was all worth it.
Let me add a little more to that too. Let me add a little more to that as well, because what he did, they don't talk much about this. When he did and took the first step to start this whole process, it actually opened up the doors for NFL ownership to get involved.
That's a fact.
Because of what he did, NFL owners, they got labor peace. We want to get involved. And they had at least, I don't know what 5 to 8 owners from the NFL that own Arena Football League teams because of this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. New Orleans, Dallas, up north. I mean, they all got involved. Denver.
Tennessee.
Yep.
Atlanta.
I mean,
Dallas.
Yep. And the benefits, the benefits was one of the biggest things. And, what we didn't have in terms of, what you can even get today is, you can't quantify that. We couldn't even sniff a benefit. Right. You may have injury clauses, stuff like that, but I'm talking about you can go get certain things right now because of what we started or what we championed, that effort that we stuck.
Calvin, this is all because of you, man. I don't know. I think he froze, but this right here was $5 million that went back to the players. $5 million. We won our lawsuit. $5 million garnered this, and the $5 million was retributed back to the players. And because of what he did, the statute of limitations allowed us to go back 3 years to get players that weren't even playing in the league at that time. We went back and got 3 years more of players that were no longer in the league and gave them some of this money as a result of the lawsuit because of what this man did. I wanted to bring you. I thank you, Calvin, for taking some time out of your day to share that history. I have it recorded. Yeah. And I am going to post this if it's up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I still got some of my AFL gear. I still got some of it, brother.
Yeah.
Got the AFL vest. Hey,
I'm gonna run down. Let me run down a list of things Calvin produced as a result of what he did. A preamble. Then we had government agreements, no strike, no lockout clause, union security, AFLPA agent certification, player security, licensing rights, team discipline, non-injury grievance, what you guys are going through right now, contract disputes, injury grievance, league discipline, injured reserve system, player safety, housing and facility standards, AFL standard player contracts, reserve list and other league exempt list, free agency, franchise players, waiver system, salary cap with minimums, and guarantees, league-wide player compensation, enforcement of salary cap, anti-collusion clauses and certification, expansion relocation, equity participation, team rosters, practice squads, off-season workouts, mini camps, preseason training camp, player salaries, per diems, days off, travel expenses, post-season salaries, player rights to medical care and treatment, access to personal medical records, group insurance, 401k program, workers' compensation, substance abuse policy. And they had miscellaneous in here, mutual reservation of rights and terminal agreement. This is what this man did right here. This guy right here, Calvin Schexnayder. Don't ever forget it. Don't ever forget who this guy is, guys. This is what he, $5 million. He did it. All it took was him taking petitions to the commissioner, asking for her to be recognized. Of course, they were going to say no. Then he took it to the next level. Let's go to the NLRB. Because under the NLRA, the National Labor Relations Act, they had a right, we had a right to organize. And they said no. They knew they weren't going to win. They thought they could start another union called the Player Organizing Committee, AFLPOC. That was their, they thought, hey, we can trump them by dividing and conquer, right? Divide and conquer, divide and conquer, divide and conquer. Well, the AFLPOC didn't go through the proper chain of protocol to get certified and was robbing players of money.
Right.
Taking dues out of their checks and they didn't even sign any authorization form. All of that was going on. So I
mean, you know, it's sad. It's sad that that has to happen. But, you know, we went through our struggles. And I have much respect for you guys because you guys, I was asked not to be on the, you know, be on the board. Now, no other person went with me, but when that came up, I felt a little certain way about that. But nevertheless, you guys stepped up, took the bull by the horns, and did, you know, completed what we all knew we had coming. So as much as you guys have respect for me, yeah, somebody got to fall on the sword, fine. You guys are right there, lock, stop, making sure people signed, making sure people understood the information. You know, that brotherhood, that togetherness, and right here, I'll always be right there, always.
We honored, man. You know, still to today, Calvin. That's why I reached out. I said, I got to have this brother on tonight just to say a little something. So we appreciate it, man. Your legacy, man, we're going to make sure we carry that torch for the next 3 generations. As long as I'm alive, definitely going to make sure that people will know who Calvin Schexnayder is. Because you are the pillar, you are the cornerstone of the AFL Players Union. And I will always let them know, hey, I was in the hospital recovering while this man was just tilling the soil. He was the field president. While I was in the hospital for 6 weeks, he was out there, and had the intestinal fortitude. He wasn't even worrying about having backlashes. Wasn't worrying about that. One of the star athletes in the league at that time, one of the fastest athletes in the league at that time. I remember one time when I got out of the hospital to come see you play, y'all were playing against Portland. And Cedric threw a pass, it wasn't intended for you, and you thought it was supposed to catch somebody else, and all of a sudden the ball ended up in your hand. I'm still wondering, like, you were looking around, but you did something like, and the ball was right here in your hand. I said, wait a minute, how did he do that? The ball just fell in your hand. You weren't even looking. You were just like running, and the ball just fell in your hand, like, because you thought he was throwing it to someone else. I said, man, who is this guy? I have to meet this guy, Calvin. I have to meet him. And then we finally met in Chicago. I was going to cast my vote for you, but you know how that whole situation turned out. I think the smarter decision was to let James Guidry case be the lead case.
Yeah.
Neck injury won our case. The neck injury won our case. But it would not have happened had it not been for you, Calvin. It would not have happened.
Well, I thank you, brothers, for standing tall as well, man.
Yeah, we got
It's
it.
all of us.
Yes. So anytime in the future, we started this is the infancy right now, just giving these guys a lot of information, receiving a lot of feedback from them. If any time, man, I hope you allow me to engage with you again to bring you on once we get a bigger group. I actually record this right now, and I'm going to share it with them and let them know they can go online and see this witness, see this history, listen to how it all started. They'll know your name. Maybe someone will begin to Google you. You went to Washington State, correct?
Yes, sir.
You went to Washington State. So, did you get in the Hall of Fame, Calvin?
No.
Okay. Were you one of the top 50 greatest in the league?
Yes.
Yeah. So
held the season record for most yards, most touchdowns for quite some time.
yeah. So if this things go right and this league reshapes itself, remodels itself, and get more solid foundation, we definitely want to pursue opening up the Hall of Fame again and getting you inducted in. You and James Barron, getting y'all inducted in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, brother.
Before you guys go, I want to take some time and say really appreciate you guys. One, sharing some wisdom with us. Two, going out of your way to kind of advise us as players, like looking out for us, because so far up until this point, we've all felt a little lost in it. So we appreciate your wisdom, taking time for this. And then number three, can you teach me how to catch 50 touchdowns in a season? So I'm trying to get those numbers too. That's the other advice I want to know, because I'm trying to put up numbers too.
Most definitely, brother. The route running is key, man.
And timing, right?
We in a box. We in a box, brother. We gonna run routes. We gonna run routes, man. So definitely, when you wanna do that, let's go. Let's go. We'll draw it up.
I'm with it, man. Hopefully, in about 4 to 6 weeks, they'll get their things together. We'll be streaming, and you guys can watch us play, knowing that you guys had a big impact on the process.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I would like to see some teams come back into it, even the Arizona Rattlers. But hey,
yeah,
their ownership is their ownership.
Yeah.
But moving forward, I wish you guys the best of luck, man, because this is a brotherhood. I don't care what league, what terms, where you at. I've been in the NFL, I've been to CFL, I've been in the XFL, I've been into AFL. We're still a brotherhood, and we pull from one another.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I feel it. I can feel it. I appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Definitely, brother.
All right, Calvin, man. Much love, respect.
Most love to you, JBJG.
Big dog.
Always, man.
My
Rec
God.
Shop.
1000%, man. Appreciate the history, man. Just a little more of a fire than all the ones on this Zoom right now. I'm certain that when I put this out, I'm going to get it converted, send it to the guys who weren't able to participate tonight, who had the desire to be on but could not, so they can hear your story. Also,
yeah, man, let's do some more of that, man. I'm on patrol from Wednesday to Saturday.
Okay.
Evenings. So if you catch me like Monday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Well, I'm at worship on Sunday, but just But
Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, we can move it around. Hey, I'm mobile.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely take that into consideration. James and I will take that into consideration. Get you back in here when we get more guys. There was just a pilot run tonight. Guys had a lot of concerns. They haven't been getting paid. There aren't any housing standards, no traveling standards. They don't have any standards right now. They just basically threw the league out there and say, hey, do whatever y'all can. And now it's a terrible, it's a debacle. The guy that's spearheading and leading it, he's an attorney. I've heard some stories about him. He's real arrogant. He's priding himself off of being one of the top attorneys. He got an award being one of the top attorneys in whatever field that he's in. So he's wearing that badge every single day. He's very prideful, sort of arrogant, has a huge ego. He was actually trying to run 5 teams here recently, but now all 5 of them are folding. So I think it'd be good. I thought it would be a good idea for them to reduce it back down from 16 teams to 8 teams, half of that. Cut your losses right now and move forward with the 8 teams, the ones that are more stable, and reduce the salaries. They're paying players, trying to pay players $1,000 a week. But they should. I'm just saying, if they want to survive, and if the players want to continue to, go out there and get the film like they say they need, they should make some concessions themselves as well. I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but I'm just saying to help to continue to grow the league. I think that's something they should take into consideration so they don't lose everyone. Because right now they're losing everyone. It's like you saw that wheelbarrow down the road type of deal, that domino effect. One team goes, there comes another one, there goes another one, there's another one. Mm-hmm. They might not have a league at all if they don't make these concessions. If they don't make the concessions, then they lose the league.
Right. Yeah, it has to be some give and take. No doubt about it.
Right. And then whatever they do, they should give promissory notes to the ones that they didn't pay, and tell them at the end of the year we'll true them up, have some type of clause like that, and invite them to come back for next year and true them up and make sure they give them the pay that they were supposed to pay them. So I don't know. I'm just rambling right now.
Hey, gotta talk about it, man. Gotta throw it out there.
Yeah, but he won't return anyone's phone call right now. So that's the problem. Anyway, we got a couple of minutes. Anybody else like to share anything? I see Pat Smith jumped on. Pat, you would like to introduce yourself? Let us know who you are, which team you play for.
Don't be shy, Pat.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, my bad. I was handling some business, but yeah, I jumped on later. I was trying to catch it right when y'all started it up, but yeah, I'm Pat Smith. I was one of the players involved in the Philadelphia Soul situation. So, I really, really wanted to, tune in and like see what was going on, because after that whole situation with us with like losing housing and everything, like I pretty much just soon as possible. So yeah, now I'm just sitting around trying to figure out like what's the next move for me, because me taking the chance on this Philadelphia Soul thing, AFL, it was kind of a difficult process for me to like really, really, really like stay as patient as calm as I am in it right now, because I originally retired from playing football prior to it. Like after I finished up the season in the NAL last year with West Texas, I was telling myself, it's time to hang up the cleats, and then a teammate from there hit me up about the Philadelphia Soul and convinced me to come along. And then for me to, I just had a 6-month-old daughter, and for me to leave my family, then walk into whatever that situation was, and was so patient all the way up until the last minute. And now, the team has officially folded, and they're not even trying to do right by us, and still telling lies right now. So, I'm just trying to get some answers, because I'm starting to get very impatient when it comes to the situation. So I just want to hear you guys out and see what type of advice or any type of move you guys can put into place so we can get something done about it, because there's no reason this guy should be constantly telling people he'll fix this, he'll call you back and tell you this, that, and the third every single day. And literally, like, when it's time to give us those answers, it's always, I don't know, we'll let you know tomorrow. Just getting us to run around. So
wow. I didn't know it was this bad, but I know this much. I know this much, that you got more resources to help you out. Especially, I mean, I'm with the NFLPA right now. I'm the secretary. So had I known something like this was happening, JB, you know me, I would have called in something, called in something. And, hey, let's get down to the bottom of this. Let's figure out why, the why.
I'm getting back. Demari Smith's supposed to be getting back with me here real soon. Listen, we got about 30 seconds left. I just want to thank you again, Calvin, for jumping on. Pat, I'll keep in contact with you through Antoine Grant. I think you were there at the meeting when I was out there in Philadelphia 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, I was there.
Okay, so I'll get your number from him, and we'll sort of have some correspondence here. Listen, man, again, it was a great meeting. I really feel like we got some accomplished tonight. So again, thanks for jumping on, Calvin. Thanks for being on, James Barron, our acting executive director. Tim, Pat, and Mike, thank you, brother, for joining as always, doing your due diligence. So